All right. Yeah, welcome to today's class. Today we want to look at passing arrays to function. We have dealt with arrays extensively. So what I want to show you now is how you pass. Array is a data structure, right? So it's going to hold values. Then you are going to pass these values to a function. This function will manipulate the values and then you will print it out on the screen. So when you are passing an array to a function, it's actually called by reference, right? You are calling by reference, meaning you are sending a pointer to the address of the first element of the array. So it's actually by reference. And that is the beauty of an array. If the data is much, using an array and passing it to a function will help to speed up the whole process. So today I'm going to show you just one of that. Now, so what I want to do now is I will create an array. I will create a function, then I will pass an array to that function. The function will work on the array, and then we'll see the output. So the first thing I'll do is I'll say include stdio.h, and then I'm going to declare a function. So my function, I will say void, because I'm not going to return anything. I just want the function to act. So void, and I will name it process array. And then this process array, which is this function, is expecting just one parameter, int array. And then this is my array. I will give 5 elements to it. So that is the size. So I'm declaring this function, meaning I want to carry out a project and I'm going to sign a contract with somebody. So who is that person? That is what I'm doing. So I'm declaring a function. I'm going to call this function later. So then I will say int main, which is my main function. I have taught you this extensively. So inside this, my main function, now I'm going to declare my array. So I'll say int array. I will call it ARR. Then 5, which is 5 elements. I'm going to initialize it at compile time. So I'll do this. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is my declaration of the array and initializing it at compile time. Then the next thing I will do is I will write a for loop. I will use a for loop to access this array. The moment I do this, being 5, and integer is what? 4 bytes. So 4 times 5, that is 20 bytes. 20 bytes has been allocated in the memory for this, and all these values has been inserted, right? Now I'm going to use a for loop to traverse this array and then print it out on the screen before passing it to what? To the function. So I will say for int, since I didn't declare it up, int I, assign 0 to it, then I less than 5, then I plus plus. I'll go into the for loop and I'll say print f array, then in. So I'll say this place, I'll say percentage d as equals to percentage d slash n, then close this. So this one will be expecting I, while this one will be expecting array I. Then I will close my printf. So I will close this. So what I'm simply doing is I'm using this for loop to traverse the array and then printing out. So this one will be percentage d. So I, which will be what? 0, will be supplied to this place. Then to check the array, whatever is in AR1, AR0 will be what? 1. Meaning I have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the indices, the index. So address, I'm assuming the first address to be 100. So this one will be 104, 108, 112, 116. I have explained that to you in my previous classes. So this is the array. Now I'm using this for loop to traverse this array. So I will print out, this one will print out A0 equals to, then it will access this place, 1. Then it will go back, it will increment. So what will it do? It will do this, I. The first thing is it will assign 0 to I, which is 0. Then it will go in. I less than 5, that is true. So it will go in, and then it will print this out. So it will access this square. Whatever is there, it will print it out. Then it will increment I to what? To 1. 1 less than 5, that is true. It will come in, and it will print this out. So this will be 1. And then whatever is in that one, this one, which is this index, whatever is there will be what? To print it out as 2. Now, I want to call this function. So the next thing I will do here is I'll say print f. Inside it, I will do /n. Then I will close this. So this one is just to create a new line. Then I will call this function process array. And then I will supply this array to it, AR. So I'm calling my function. Now I've not defined the function yet. I only declared the function here. So the system knows, the compiler knows that there's a function I'm going to call. So calling the function here, the compiler knows it, will not throw me an error. The next thing I'll do is, after calling the function, I want to now print out what will now be inside this memory location. So I'm bringing this for loop here again. So this same for loop, I'm going to repeat it here. So I'll say for int I assign 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, then print f array %d equals to %d/n, then comma I ar, which is the array I. So I'm doing this, then I will close this again. So this is my function. Then here I will say return zero. Then I will close this one. I will close it here. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I will now have to define this function. You will not be able to see it here. So I'm going to bring it here so that you'll be able to see it. So this is what I will do. I'll just do this. I'll do this. So this function, which is the process array, is what I'll write here. So I'll say void process. Is it process? Process array. Then int array 5. Inside it, I'll write another for loop for int I assign 0, I less than 5, then I plus plus. I'm going to supply a formula inside this for loop. And what would that formula be? Array I equals to array I times 2. So I'll close it. Then I'll close this my for loop. I hope you are still able to see, because it's very small. It's because of the board. So this is my function that I've written. And what am I doing with this function? I am just simply saying that I will traverse each of these array. I will traverse each of them, and then I will come in, I will assign 0 to I, I less than 5, that is true, I will come in. Then I will multiply whatever value I see in that place by 2 and reassign it back there, right? And reassign it back to this place. And don't forget, I call this function by what? I'm passing this array to this function by reference. So whatever is happening inside this function is going to affect the real location of the array inside this place. So by multiplying this by 2 and then reassigning it back to this, mean I'm changing this place to 2. Then I will increment I to 1. I will check I less than 5, that is true. I will come in, I will multiply whatever I see inside, which is this 2, by 2, and then reassign it back. So this one will change to 4. Then I will do the same thing. I will increment this to 2, right? 2 less than 5, that is true. I will come in, multiply what I see there by 2, reassign it back to this. So this one will be what? 6. Then I will increment this to 3. Then I will check 3 less than 5, that is true. I will come in here, I will carry out this formula. Whatever I see there, multiply by 2, reassign to this. So this place will become 8. Then I will increment this to what? To 4. 4 less than 5, that is true. Then I will come in, I will multiply what I see there, which is 5, by 2, reassign it back to this place. And that will be what? 10. So that is 10. Now, this function. So the first thing I did was to call this for loop. And then I printed out what was initially in that array out. Then I called the function. The moment I called the function here, control moved from this place and came to this function. So the function executed by changing whatever is in the array. Then it will return back to this place. Then this for loop will now activate. So this for loop is simply accessing the array again to pull out what is inside and print it out on the screen, right? So this will now print out, the initial one will print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This other for loop will now print out 2, 4, 6, 8, and what? 10. So that is how what I'm trying to teach you is the matrix of truth and then your own matrix. So you blend your own matrix with the matrix of truth in order to get your manifestation. So for every square that you see in the matrix, there is a formula deep inside. Once you can access that formula, whatever it is that you desire, you can always manifest it with the matrix of truth. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, that changing whatever you want inside this array now depends on whatever formula that you have here. I can put any other thing here, but this is just what I wanted, and the formula to achieve it is this. So once you can access that formula, you can always create any output that you are looking for. That is what I want to show you. So that is what I want to demonstrate in this class, how to pass an array to a function. And it is usually what? Call by reference. That is how you pass, because you are actually pointing to the address of the first element, and then through pointer arithmetic, you'll be able to access the remaining element of the array. So let's go to code blocks and let me demonstrate this for you to see. So this is our code blocks on passing arrays to a function, and this is what I demonstrated on the board for you to see. So you can see process array, I declared my function. Process array and is expecting just one parameter, is void, is not returning anything, it's just going to perform action. And then I declared my array, I initialize it at compile time. Then I use this for loop to push out the value on the screen. Then I created a new line. Then I called the function and I pass the array to the function. So control will come to this. This function will perform the task, and then I'll use this for loop again to print out the value. So let's run this script and see what it will give us on the screen. So you see, so here, this is me initializing the array. So this first for loop printed out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then after calling the array, calling the function, which is this. So after calling the function, we now use the for loop again to try to access it, and then it's printing out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 because of this formula inside the function. Formula inside the function is access the first value, multiply it by 2, and reassign it back. Do that to all the elements of the arrays, and then try to print out the new value. And since you did call by reference, it's going to alter the values of the elements inside the array in the main. So that is what is happening. So you are always passing an array as a pointer, which is what's called by reference, not called by value. Right? So that's what I want to demonstrate in this class. So till we see in the next class. Bye-bye.